Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matthew Talon.
And I am Daniel John Schaefer. We are Mouth of the Mark.
And this is A Week in Wrestling. We're going to start this week off with a little bit of gossip, a little bit of dirt.
Yeah.
Big things happened over the week. Taz left TNA, which I think we all think, it's no pay issues within TNA. But what do you think about Taz leaving? Do you think he's going to come back to WWE? Do you think he's going to call it? Do you think he's going to go somewhere else?
I think he might go to Ring of Honor, actually, because right now they have Kevin Kelly, and they're working an angle with Steve Corino, so he hasn't really he wasn't on. They had Adam Cole on commentary on Saturday, and it was kind of weak, honestly. It was surprisingly, the commentary was pretty bad because it's not really terrible. Kevin Kelly isn't awful most of the time, but I would like to see him in Ring of Honor. I wouldn't mind him going back to WWE. I think they could definitely use some help in the commentary department there. But I just feel like you don't really need to add to the JBL Booker T thing. So I don't know if bringing a wrestler back to do commentary there would make sense. Maybe in NXT it would make sense. And then he could just kind of stay in Florida and stay in that area anyway. You know what I mean? I feel like putting him on NXT is would be a smart decision, but
that was my thought. My thought was we could, if WWE were to take Taz back, which when his contract came up with TNA, WWE didn't want him. So that's why he re-signed with TNA. If for some reason he did go back, then I would say if you're going to use him at all, use him in NXT. You get Byron some help. He needs it,
Yeah, Taz and Corey Graves would be good. I'd say just get rid of Tensai completely, completely. Not that I don't like the guy. It's just his commentary is kind of not really, great, and he's not working anymore. So
commentary in NXT is that you can't tell who's who. There's no distinction between don't cut to them enough. Can't tell who's talking when because Tensai doesn't have a voice. Corey Graves, okay, whatever. Byron does. Just kind of get it all muddled together because there's no distinct voice between them.
Yeah. I like Graves on commentary. I can always tell it's him. I think Graves does have a voice for sure. But I feel like Tensai gets cluttered up, and I don't even remember the other white guy that's just a commentator. I don't even know what his name is. Just some
I
random
honestly
dude.
couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's he's forgettable. So I can see them just taking him out completely and just putting Taz in there since Byron's kind of moved up.
Yeah, I could see that. I guess the biggest news of the week, actually, I'll call it the second biggest. Shawn Michaels turned down an offer to wrestle at WrestleMania 32, saying that he was happily retired and he had no plans to wrestle again. Do you think that's a good or a bad thing, Shawn not wrestling again?
I'm torn because I'm the biggest HBK mark of all time. I love the guy to death. He's the number one reason why I sustained watching wrestling through my formidable years or whatever. He's the greatest of all time. But of course I would love to see him work again. And if the situation was right, I might forgive him for coming out of retirement. But I've always felt like he's been that old school guy where it's he doesn't do the comeback for money. Not trying to trash Mick Foley, but Mick Foley's retired 8 times. You know what I mean? And so when he finally retired the last time, it was nobody really cared. You know what I mean? Now I know it would be different with Shawn because it would probably literally just be a one-off thing. But still, it's I don't know. I'm kind of torn. It's 50-50 for me. I'm half glad he's not wrestling again and he's sustaining his legacy and staying true to his word. But 50% of me is damn, I'm sure they're going to put him with somebody awesome. They wouldn't waste the angle if it wasn't going to be an explosion, amazing match. So I don't know. I'm torn 50-50 on that one. I don't know if it's right or wrong, honestly.
I think that's where I'll because you want to see him wrestle. He's the Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah.
He's Shawn Michaels. He is the showstopper. And to your point of you being the biggest HBK mark, let me introduce you to a friend of mine, Bill. He's a pretty big mark. Y'all would get along great. I don't know. I'm with you though. I don't think Shawn needs to wrestle again. he retired against The Undertaker, and it was one of those things where, you know, I'm a man of my word, all this stuff. So it's hard to see Shawn come back for even just for a one-off and have it work to where he's going back on his word. You know? So like it creatively makes sense as well as, you know, the nostalgic factor of him coming back.
Right. Yeah, see, like to me, storyline wise, the only way to like keep his word, quote unquote, intact would be to have that retirement match with Taker, where he puts like he beats Taker, you know what I mean? And he puts him down like he should have been like, because to me, like if you look at the list of workers, like the best workers that should have broken the streak, it would be Shawn, no doubt about it. You know what I mean? So like it would make sense for him to come out of retirement to retire the Undertaker. But I feel like at this point, even though Taker did have a great showing with Bray last year, I feel like at this point, that's a really risky match. Like it could be, dude, like it could be the best match of all time, or it could be like completely crap on both of their legacies. You know what I mean? So
right, you've already got. I would almost call Undertaker and Shawn Michaels probably one of the greatest matches I've seen was WrestleMania 25. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And
second best match of all time.
Without a doubt, though, you have that. That's pressure, man, because that's, I mean, you're talking by the time 32 comes around, that's 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen Undertaker decline to like rock bottom at WrestleMania 30 pretty well for WrestleMania 31. So it's a crapshoot because what do you get at WrestleMania 30 Undertaker? Do you get WrestleMania 31 Undertaker? And what do you get from Shawn? Shawn hasn't been around since and I mean, yeah, he's hit a couple of sweet chin musics here and there just whenever he's done his little one-off.
Yeah, I'm not ever worried about Shawn, dude. Shawn is Shawn though. Like, I mean, the guy stopped in 2000 or stopped in 98, came back in 2002, and there was like zero rust. I mean, zero rust. It was like, it wasn't just like, oh, he's still got it. It was like, oh, he's still the best in the business at 4 years out of the ring. Like,
I understand that. Also, but I also say, okay, but like Undertaker and stand the test of time, where it's been 7 years. And he's done his TV shows, and you know, in there for whatever. There's that out there, man. He's HA. What if he's not? There's that chance.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. There's a small chance that that's a possibility, and that's why I do think that like overall, he's just being smart. It's like, well, he's like, I know I probably could put on a pretty decent match, but it's probably best if I just don't, because then it's like, plus this way, it's like if he wrestles again and then retires, like has one huge match and then retires, I feel like he likes the questions. I feel like he likes people always wondering if he will. And it almost like helps with his TV shows, with his book that just came out. I mean, I went to that signing, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if he were to wrestle one more match, he would actually lose steam on the media side. You know what I mean? Like he might get a big pop for a little while, but then after like maybe a year after, maybe like if he worked at WrestleMania 32, he'd probably have a good year of a big pop from his match. So, but by WrestleMania 33, he'd be back to just, you know what I mean? Like he probably would, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he'd still be HBK, but I don't know. It's hard to kind of explain.
No. Because I mean, it's the mystery is always better than once you solve the puzzle. You know, it's just always been like that. You know, the what if keeps you hanging. Yeah. And if he comes back, the what if is gone. You know, he'll get the nostalgic from, oh my God, John's back, blah, 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 ride that wave. That wave's gone. Oh, no more what if. And I think Steve Austin is very much the same way, where everybody's like, oh, Stone Cold, come back for one more match. And, even on his podcast, he's like, physically, I could probably do it. But can I do it to the standard that for myself? That what if is always better than.
Yeah. But all right. Now, but Steve Austin is a completely different thing. It's a completely different thing because Steve Austin can have an Austin style match pretty easily. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that he wasn't like, he could wrestle. I mean, he was a great wrestler. He was a great worker, but all of his like huge moment matches had a lot of good spots in them, but they were brawl matches. I mean, all the big ones with The Rock, like, they're brawl matches. I mean, he can throw punches, and as long as his kicks and punches still look 100% platinum the way they always have for him, as long as he can do a Luthez press, give somebody a back body drop here and there, you know, I know he can still chain wrestle a little bit. So it's like, I mean, yes, I feel like because Steve Austin's level of work, it's not – Austin is a guy like Hogan, but a better worker. Most of his stuff is just the fact that it's Steve Austin doing it. It's not that it's like he was never the cleanest, crispest wrestler as not as Stone Cold, at least. He may have been as Stunning Steve, but as Stone Cold, he was pretty much always a brawler that had a couple really nice high spots in matches. And I feel like he could probably, dude, honestly, I feel like he could probably come back and work another 3 or 4 years and not tarnish his legacy. I don't know. I think Steve Austin is just simply because of style. It's a totally different situation, and I 100% believe we will see Stone Cold in a WWE ring again.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, I think Stone Cold will do one more. But the question is when. You know, and not everybody interested. I think the guy is he's in the top. He's got to be in the top 5 for Podcast One because so many people just listen to his show. You know, just because they want an inkling of any idea. That, and it doesn't hurt that he has badass guests on every week.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I like his podcast. I listen to that one, Ross Report, and sometimes Talk is Jericho if the host is, or if the guest is somebody I want to hear. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, I kind of feel like Jericho is getting a little overexposed to me. Like, he's just everywhere now. Like, I mean, I love the guy to death, and I mean, he's my top 5 favorite workers, but I mean, I don't know, dude. It's like the Comedy Central show, and like now he's doing the podcast on the network, and he's got his band thing too, and you know, it's in the rock world, so it's like, oh God, like it's just, and then he's always constantly coming back and doing one-offs too, like where he wrestles for like 2 months or something and then goes away again, and it's like, Jesus, man, like you gotta let me breathe for a little while. You gotta make me miss you a little bit, you know, like.
You know what's funny about Jericho, though? Jericho is getting overexposed. But it's funny because you would think that Stone Cold or even the possible – well, no, not JR because JR only does one. But Stone Cold, just like, you know, Jericho, they both drop 2 podcasts a week.
Yeah, but it's not the podcast I'm talking about. It's
right,
like
it's
TV appearances and that kind of thing. Maybe it's just more in my face because of, like, my lifestyle.
You're on both ends. You're on both ends.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge, amazing Fozzy fan, so like I don't. You know,
oh, I'm not either at all. Honestly, I don't like his band one bit. But I mean, I get why people like it. It's just not my style. I mean, they're a good band. They're really good at what they do. I'm not downing them. They're obviously very, very talented. It's just that it's not something that I would listen to.
Right. I'm the same way. It's not my style of rock. But, you know, the guy's made it overseas.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to him. I mean, yeah, the music is good for what it is. I just don't like that style of music.
Yeah. Well, since we're on the topic of Jericho, do you think Jericho's going to be the tough enough host, or do you think it's going to be somebody else?
See, that's what I'm saying, like, about overexposure, too. I really think he is, and I really don't want him to be. Like, I mean, I'm sure he's going to be a great trainer, but I don't want to see him every week. Like, I just don't. Not in Tough Enough, at least. Especially, like, I don't know. I'm just getting burnt out on him. That's all. Like, I love the guy to death. I'm just, like, worn out. He's, like, your best friend that you see every day, and then you go through that spell where it's just, like, God, I hate you. Go away for, like, a week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about Jericho right now. Like, I love him, but I'm tired of seeing him. And I just feel like I'd rather see Triple H run Tough Enough. Since he's kind of, like, NXT is his brainchild. It's probably going to be at the Performance Center anyway. I feel like he should be the guy doing Tough Enough. Honestly, like, dude, one of the main episodes that sticks out in my mind was from, like, it may have been the first season of Tough Enough, but it's when Triple H showed up and he's, like, showing the guys how to take bumps, like, off of, like, punches and stuff. And, like, I don't know, like, it stuck with me. I was like, man, this guy would be a phenomenal trainer. Like, I just remember even back then. And now it's like, he's so much more like seasoned and stuff. So I don't know. I would rather see Triple H do it. I don't think he will, just because he's already doing the office thing and he's got his family and whatever. But I'd like to see Triple H do it, or a Shawn Michaels would be awesome doing it. Or even like the Click guys in general would be awesome. Like kind of have like the Click as the trainers for Tough Enough, like be the whole panel. You know what I mean? Like that would be really cool.
I'll throw two, and one you'll probably agree with, and one you probably won't. And if you're not going to do anything with him, why not throw in Christian? Your silence disturbs me.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I just don't care about Christian enough to watch.
Don't play nice. You can just be as brutal as you want.
Okay, I think Christian is one of the most overrated workers ever. I don't think that he's like a terrible guy, but I think his work never got past mid-card. He would have never been the world heavyweight champion in WWE had Edge not had to retire, and they use a sympathy angle. That never would have happened. I liked his work better in TNA as Christian Cage than I ever did in the WWE, but it's because, honestly, he was the best in the company pretty much at that time in TNA. I mean, I know Joe was there and AJ Styles was there, but he was the best at that time. I mean, even Joe, I wasn't really invested in for a little while. AJ Styles fell off really bad for a little while. He's since gotten a lot better again, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Christian, and who was the first person you said?
Edge.
Oh, yeah, of course. See, I would be all in with Edge. All in with Edge. It's just that Christian is like, all right, here's the perfect comparison. If Triple H is to Edge as X-Pac is to Christian in my mind. Like, that's just the way it is to me. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not down in like Sean Waltman either. He had some great angles. He had some great matches, but he was never a main event guy. Never should have been a main event guy. He knew that. So that's how I feel about Christian. He's just not a main event guy. And every time he comes back and they put him in a world championship like style match or a #1 contender match, and then he immediately gets hurt and he's off TV again for 2 months, and it's like, dude, stop. Like, I know I'm like 140 pounds, but that guy has these smallest arms in all of pro wrestling, like ever. Like, I don't even know how his elbow pads stay on. Like, it's insane.
I think either one of those would be good. If you're not going to go with like a Triple H or something like that, it's hard to get those marquee guys though. You know what I mean? Because you got your big guys who Cena's phenomenally busy. He'll probably guest appear on one episode, maybe if we're lucky, and you might see a guy on there. But like your marquee guys, like your Stone Cold, your even The Rock. I mean, The Rock's busier than all of them put together. But Rock, Austin, Triple H, Michaels, and the list goes on and on. These big marquee guys, it's been the host something like, I threw my mindset out of saying, okay, well, I want this big guy to host Tough Enough. And the scheduling is not going to work. So, I started thinking, I said, what about somebody who isn't overly busy or a moderate worker, upper mid card, that's kind of where I grabbed, Edge and Christian from.
Yeah, I mean, Edge is a main event guy. I feel like
I'm not saying that he's not. He obviously is. The guy's got a resume a mile long. But what I more mean is like the marquee guys. Those guys will say, well, what about this guy or this guy or this guy? They're going to do it. Too much going on.
I feel like Edge is just as much of a marquee name as like a Jericho would be. I mean, he's just as
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Somebody on that upper level of the mid card and main card, but wasn't the guy.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's more what I mean.
I mean, honestly, in a perfect world, Stone Cold doing Tough Enough would be the best thing. I think DDP would be cool too. That might be nice, especially with the whole like yoga thing that he's done, like turning everybody around with that. I don't know, man. I keep circling back to like having like Hall and Nash and like all the other dudes just kind of like be the panel for Tough Enough. I feel like that'd be super rad. But what do I know?
If you do a panel like that, I give you 2 more names, and if you disagree, I don't know if we can continue this.
Dude, Ric Flair. That's the guy that should do Tough Enough.
Every single worker coming out of Tough Enough and going to NXT or the Indies, they're just going to hit the turnbuckle, walk, spit in the air, face plant.
Yes.
It's their whole
millions of dollars.
2 names, and I'll say it in one: Dudleys.
That'd be awesome too.
I'd be down for that.
That'd be awesome too.
Throw the Dudleys on Tough Enough. That'd be cool.
So Raw last week though, I don't know, man. I feel like how did you feel about it on like as a whole?
Underwhelming. I thought they were so good. They were so good. Mania was so good. Raw after Mania was so good. Then we got the decline, and I thought, okay, it's a one-off, whatever. But here we go. We're on the slide. We're coming down, man. It's just I'm holding hope out, so I'm going to give it a C. I'm going to give it a C overall, just because I'm holding hope out.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I gave it to. I gave it a C. I mean, the Barrett Cena match was pretty good. I guess it was supposed to be Bryan and Cena, but Barrett, filled in really well. I thought that the Divas Battle Royal was so god awful. Paige going over was the only thing that kept it from being a complete F to me.
But you really didn't.
Yeah, but then you pretty much like wash her off TV as soon as she wins it. So it just shows that like that entire thing that you did of writing, like making this Divas Battle Royal, building it up for 2 weeks, and then having the match for no reason, for nothing. You did it all for absolutely nothing. Like
nothing.
God, like, and man, it was so terrible too. And, all right, Battle Royal, and they're going under the rope to get out. Under the rope,
the middle,
to be eliminated. What is that? What kind of garbage is that?
I don't get it either. I don't understand it.
Terrible.
But let's back up a second because we've overshadowed a couple of things here. The Cena and Barrett match. Can I just say how gold Barrett is? I mean, literally gold. The guy comes out, and I mean, he gets if not the biggest pop of the night, he gets the second or third pop of the night, and he just picks up the mic and goes, "Thanks, but I haven't done anything yet." I laughed so hard whenever he said that. The man is good. He's been good from the beginning, and ever since he's gone with the bad news gimmick, he's just so much better.
Yeah, I agree.
He found his shtick, and him and Cena put on a pretty damn good match. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't my match of the night. It really wasn't, but it was a good match. And when a Cena match breaches the top 3 or the top 2 of my night, it's a pretty rough Raw. And for the love of God, stop.
Yeah, but at the same time too, man, I do feel like just with Cena being in like having a secondary title, dude, I just feel like his matches are better because he's working better guys. Because the best workers we all know just aren't main event guys. So, like, working guys like Barrett and, like, Stardust and, like, guys that are really good workers, like, I feel like his matches in general have been significantly better. Like, this might be one of the Cena's best years, honestly, which is pretty ridiculous considering how long he's been there and the list of names that he's worked.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's looking like it's going to be if the last 3 weeks are anything to go by, it's going to be a good year for Cena as long as he holds that U.S. title. His U.S. title run will be one of his best working runs, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, it's crazy to say that with how late in his career he is. I mean, not that he's retiring, in the near future, but it's crazy that he's this seasoned and he's this far along in his career, and we're probably going to see some of John Cena's best work in the next 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
What do you think about the stipulation for Cena and Rusev? Because after the match, Rusev did the sneak attack. What do you think about the Russian chain match?
Yeah, which is pretty much just like a dog collar match or whatever. Touch the 4 corners, like a standard chain match. But I feel like it'll be good. I feel like that's a gimmick that can work with the 2 big guys. You can make it a little bit more brutal and brawling that way. I like it. I think overall that's a good gimmick for Extreme Rules for them, and I feel like it works. It furthers the storyline, but because of it, I can see Cena going over again, and then even furthering the Rusev angle.
I see Cena going over, and I see when I think of this, I think of the Texas Bull Rope match with Eddie and JBL, and I just see it as a way of Cena showing his strength of, let's say he puts Rusev in the STF and Rusev passes out, and now Cena's got to drag Rusev to all 4 corners and show his Super Cena strength. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I think there's a part of me that thinks that that's actually going to be the ending.
Yeah, I can see that.
To the Battle Royal, Naomi's heel turn, because we know Paige won. Naomi's heel turn. I like the change because she's been face ever since she debuted there, but I don't like it because they literally just threw her in AJ's spot. Like, AJ retired, and they were like, well, here's Naomi. We'll do it with her. All right, let's do that. Rather than change plans to make it fit Naomi's character, they just threw her in. Because now, like you said last week, you had Natalya working face after being a heel valet for Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. I know the Usos are out for a little while, but are you going to keep Naomi heel at that point? Are you going to have her a face valet for the Usos and then work singles as a heel? I mean, are you really going to make that same mistake?
I think that she's only going to be working heel while she's working Paige. And then at the end of that angle, they'll do some kind of hug thing, and then she'll go back to being a babyface. I think that they just needed a heel, and they wanted to give her, and they wanted to put her, and they felt like she's a solid enough worker to get a good pay-per-view match with Paige. Which, I mean, they should have just done it with Natty since she's already kind of heel anyway. And Natty's obviously a solid enough worker. But I see why they did it, and I don't think they like. Even though I would love to see a heel Usos, I think that they're just having her heel just to fill in this gap that AJ left, like you said. And then as soon as that runs over, and right around the time the Usos are going to come back, they're gonna turn her back face.
So do you think that instead of Naomi facing Nikki at Extreme Rules, you think Paige is coming back and it's going to be Naomi versus Paige at Extreme Rules and no Divas title match?
I don't know yet. But I know that the Bellas weren't on TV at all last week, were they?
They weren't on commentary for the Battle Royal?
Yeah, they may have been on commentary, but I mean, neither one of them worked.
They didn't work, no. I couldn't remember if they were on commentary or not. Honestly, the Battle Royal was forgettable for me.
It was so bad, man. It was just like, and then all that stuff, all those angles that they did with Cameron and Natalya and Alicia Fox, like that whole thing about, like the three-way thing, the complete travesty of a match they had where Cameron was the referee, and I said it was a complete waste of time because none of them were going to win, and I was 100% right. It was a total waste of time. None of them won.
We knew that.
Oh my God, it was so bad. It was so bad. And then, like, one thing that I did notice, though, that I guess we'll get to when we get to SmackDown, but there was a commercial right after the Battle Royal saying that Daniel Bryan was set to defend his Intercontinental title at SmackDown. There was a commercial they actually ran on Monday for an Intercontinental title defense. And honestly, for me, it almost felt like, well, are they going to start doing the U.S. Open Challenge, U.S. Title Open Challenge on Monday, and then the IC Open Challenge on the secondary show? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, to me, you'd want to push the IC title more than you would the U.S. title because it's the OG WWE title, you know? So, I don't know.
But Cena does not have the Intercontinental title. Forget that small point.
Fair enough.
Should we even talk about the Lucha Dragons just beating out the Ascension?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a straight squash match, but I liked it. I liked that they put him over. And Kalisto was a highlight for sure. I mean, it always is. I gave the match a B, even though it was only 6 minutes. Like, I didn't mind it. It was a decent, like, it was a really quick match, but everything made sense. It didn't look rushed. It worked. I felt like that match was a good enhancement match, and it kind of put a little bit of heat on the Ascension too. I cared more about the Ascension after they lost than I did, even a week ago. So yeah. I think they achieved their goal with that. And then they had the Reigns promo with Booker T. I don't know, man. I feel like the weirdest thing about Reigns is that every now and then he gets like this like Southern like gangster like tone to his voice. Like they gonna get got or something, and it's like Reigns. It's like, dude, you're a Samoan. Like, don't do that. Like, don't do that. Like, that's no. Don't be all Fast and Furious. Don't do that. That's not cool.
Don't go all Rodney Mack on us.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I could see you going in that direction too, and it's like, just stop. All the gangster stuff, just stop that. Like, no.
They're gonna do it, man. Called it 2 weeks ago. Called it a week ago. Here we are.
I
Big
did
Show.
like that how when he was doing like they had on the Titantron they had his little promo with Booker T, and during that the crowd started chanting "Thank you, Big Show." That was funny to me.
That's the second time that a crowd has done "Thank you, Big Show" when he's attacked some faces. Because if you remember after WrestleMania 29, at 29 when Sheamus, Big Show, and Orton faced the Shield and lost. Sheamus was fighting Randy Orton on Raw after, and that was like the huge night where they were chanting like same old shit, boring, all that stuff. Big Show comes out and knocks them both out, and you hear the loudest "Thank you, Big Show" chant I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that was good. I remember that. I do remember that.
So it looks like we're gonna get Big Show versus Reigns, and while I like the beatdown, I'm always a fan of utilizing stage props and beatdowns. So I like how they just tore up the car. I'm not a fan of Big Show and Reigns, man. I don't want to see it again. I think I'm speaking for a lot of us when we just don't want to see this again.
No, I agree. I'm 100% with you.
I can't do it.
And this is where, like, all right, I was really excited about Raw this week because on paper the card looked pretty good. It was like Orton versus Cesaro was going to be one of the matches.
I was expecting that to be match of the night.
Yeah, me too. And then all of a sudden it turns into a handicap match, and then Orton goes over on the tag team champions. Yeah. Why in God's name would you put Orton over, the #1 contender, not a title holder, over the tag champions? And then on SmackDown, you put the two singles title guys over on the tag champions, meaning that they're a better team in singles competition one time than the tag team champions of your company. Yes. So stupid. Why do you continue to bury the tag team champions? You keep trying to build up the tag team division. Like, you should, even if it was like the primetime players that came out that fought Orton or whatever, and you put them over in that way, or like some other tag team, like any other tag team. Like, why would you put over Orton on the tag team champions? So stupid. So dumb.
Because we both know that the WWE doesn't truly care about the tag team division. They believe that tag team wrestling is dead. The tag team titles have been filler since like 2008, 2009, man.
Oh, way before that.
I would go
way before that.
Yeah, okay. I'll go before that.
I'd say about 2004, 2003.
When did Kendrick and London have them? Because see, I was a big Hooligans fan, so like I love the Hooligans run, and of course that led to Eminem. So I was a fan of those two teams.
Well, those were good teams, but I'm saying like since like there was a legitimate tag team division, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say no later than 05. Yeah, because because at that point you still had Eddie and Chavo, even Eddie and Ray I think was in one of those eras. So even then, there were some good teams to be invested in. It's just poor booking for tag teams these days, man. Especially in WWE. I'm just glad they don't do that crap everywhere.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. Like, they have good teams. Like, those teams should be mid-card at least, not curtain jerkers like they put them. Like, dude, it just blows my mind. It's like, why are you – I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it, but it is what it is.
I don't get why Adam Rose was on Raw.
To do the job for Dean Ambrose. By the way, all right, man. Look, I feel like I'm finally starting to pinpoint why I don't like Dean Ambrose, okay? And here's my list of reasons. He's got two moves that he does pretty regularly that make zero sense to me, and that's the clothesline thing, and he does a diving Macho Man style elbow drop on a standing opponent. It's so stupid. It looks like garbage. I know he thinks he's like innovative or whatever, but both of those moves look absolutely terrible. And you know what looks worse? Him always wearing a black wife beater and some damn jeans. Dude, get some gear, man. Get some gear. Reigns has gear. Rollins has gear. And you're wearing jeans and a tank top every week? Dude, you look silly. You look silly. Like, we all make fun of Cena for wearing jorts for 10 years. You don't look any better. It's terrible. His look is bad. His overacting in his promos is awful. Ugh. And those moves are so bad. He takes a great bump. He works really well. He sells really well. But his offense in general is pretty weak to me. I mean, I like the double arm DDT, dirty deeds, whatever the hell he's calling it. That's a cool finish. But other than that, like all his signature moves are lame. I don't know. I don't dig him at all. And he just aggravates every week. I hate him more, honestly.
I can't hate him. I don't hate him. And I don't think he's too terrible for the jeans and tank top. Luke Harper does it, but at least Luke Harper has a backstory and a reason for doing it. I didn't see the point of Ambrose squashing Adam Rose, not to defend Adam Rose, but I just didn't see the need for the match. It was literally nothing more than filler, because what are you doing with Ambrose right now?
Nothing.
The answer is nothing. Right, the answer is nothing. You're not. He answered Cena's open challenge, and that's it. I mean, he faced Luke Harper, and now he just faced Adam Rose. But, I mean, what are you doing? He's got nothing. He's going to get the "we have nothing for you," and I hate it because I like him as a worker. If he would just get rid of that rebound. If he would just, instead of doing the rebound between the middle and top rope, if he just did a rebound off the ropes and hit a clothesline, just call it like a slingshot clothesline or something, use that. I liked the elbow drop the first few times I saw it, but now it's just like, oh, that's a staple.
It's boring.
I didn't like the match. Yeah, I just didn't like the match.
Stupid.
Highlight of the night's coming up, though. Fandango's face turn. Got
and they managed to put over Stardust, and they managed to put over Stardust quickly.
Yep,
which is okay. Yep. Honestly, I gave that entire segment an A because they did everything so quickly. But Stardust got shine, Rosa finally got dropped, and Fandango turned face, all in one foul swoop. I loved it quickly. It happened awesome.
That's what I'm saying. Not just in one fell swoop, in a 5-minute swoop.
Yeah,
that pop though. I think he got pop of the night, if you ask me. Fandango got pop of the night. Can only happen with a Europe crowd. After that, I don't even remember what came after that.
The Kane Rollins lay down and pin.
Oh yeah.
I liked that Kane at least got some shine, and I get it, but it's like, I don't know, I want them to do something with Kane that's worth a shit, but at the same time, I just don't want him to be a face either. I want him to do something. This is just me being a mark and bitching because I'm not going to like anything they do with Kane, but it's weird because I feel like he deserves to have something actually done with him that's decent. It's like, he's not a bad worker, and people say oh, same old shit, whatever. To me, he's a pretty decent worker. Put him under the mask, whatever. Let him just be his own heel and just destroy everything or whatever, and just make him a hot commodity every now and then. I get that. I don't know. Just don't make him a face, but they're going to. God, it's terrible. I don't like anything they're doing with Kane right now. I understand Rollins going over. I get that. It works out. But, do you have anything to add to that? Because I felt like that was kind of a dud anyway.
I didn't think it was a dud. I think because I was invested. You know what I mean? I was invested in it. I followed along all the segments, backstage with Big Show, Brian. I followed that. And when it came time, when he took the shirt off and, he got ready for the chokeslam and all that, super invested. I was ready for it. Because Rollins is such a good heel that you just want to see him get his. So it doesn't matter who it is. You get invested. So I was invested. I was like, Kane, just lay him out. Just lay him out. Get it done. Put the arrogant prick in his place. Blah, blah, blah. You believe the story. But at the same time, I'm with you. I don't want to see Kane face because I don't want him to be in the same situation that Big Show is in now, where he's turned so many times that it's delegitimizing the character.
Right.
Kane's already been delegitimized. There's no way around it. There's no need to open a wound that's already there.
Right.
I would say, I'm going to use a word that WWE doesn't really like using. Tweener. Leave him in the middle.
Yeah.
Just let him go under the mask. Let him lay waste to anyone and everyone. Not face, not heel. Just, if you get in this dude's way, he's going to chokeslam your ass through a ring. Just let him be that.
No, I agree.
And that's it. And there you go. You have Kane. Kane as a tweener is probably the best thing you can do right now. And it's the best thing for his character.
Yeah.
Because he could lay waste to everybody. You can book him against literally anyone. You can put him against Roman Reigns. You can put him against Big Show. You can put him against Orton. You can put him against Rollins. You can put him against Bryan, Cena.
Put him against Triple H.
Triple H, yeah, whoever. Because that's the cool part about being the tweener is that you can work both sides of the equation.
Yeah.
But I know they're not going to do that. They're going to turn him face, and they're going to make a mess out of it.
Yeah. And then we had a Miz and Mizdow again.
They're going 2 out of 3 with it. Well, actually, they're probably going to go 3 out of 5 with it, because after this match, you find out that they're having a match next week for the rights to the Miz franchise or the Miz name or whatever.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? You should have. Here's what's going to happen. Miz won. Mizdow won. This one's going to end fluffy. It ain't going to be a clean finish. It's going to be some sketchy-ass ending. Miz is going to somehow keep the Miz name, and it's going to Extreme Rules. But they're overexposing it. Why? Yeah. Why? I don't care if you want to do 2 out of 3. You want to do 2 out of 3? That's fine. But you should have done 2 false finishes and then give the third one an Extreme Rules. This is overexposing Miz and Mizdow, and you're taking something that is super over, and you're just killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it.
No, I agree. I'm like, dude, honestly, at this point, I have zero investment in Miz and Mizdow. Zero. And I was hot on this angle coming out of WrestleMania too. I was hot on it until like it's like I've seen the match so many times now that it's like I just don't care. Like, I mean, I'll look and see who won just to see how the story ends. But now it's like I don't care about the match anymore. I just don't care about the match itself at all anymore.
I'm the same way. I was super invested at Mania. The Battle Royal had us all invested, and they're watering it down. Yeah, it's what I said they were going to do, and it's what it just aggravates me so much because it was something that could have easily been not a marquee match, but it could have been a solid invested angle that you've watered down so much that I just want to pour it out. You know, just I don't care anymore. I care about what Mizdow does after this, but I don't care about this.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. It's just I just don't have any kind of I mean, it's sad too because I just feel like it's like by continuing to overexpose it, they're losing steam for themselves. They're only hurting both the workers and the company itself. Like, because at this point, it's like, I mean, piss break or change the channel or check Sports Center real quick. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so, because I've seen the match so many times. And let's be honest, man, it's not like they're both phenomenal workers. Like, I mean, I like Sandow. He's a good worker. And Miz is a pretty good worker too, but they're not like great workers. And you know they're not going to do anything brand new in the pay-per-view match that they haven't already done. So it's like,
exactly.
God, I don't know. And then right after that, you had, what was it? Ryback and Harper, which was pretty much like a DQ finish because of Ambrose running in, furthering the Ambrose-Luke Harper thing. And my thing is like, what? All right, I understand the beginning, and I understand like getting a little bit of shine back after the Mania thing, having him go through the ladder or whatever. But why are they? I mean, I haven't heard anything from them as far as promo-wise on each other. Like, why? Like, there's no real. It's like this is the one angle where it's like all wrestling, which is really weird. Like, neither one of them has cut a promo on each other. It's all actual in-ring stuff, which is kind of strange for the WWE.
Yep. And the strangest part about it is that usually Ambrose is the first guy to cut a promo because, I mean, I like his promo work. I know you don't. You've already, trust me, you've blasted that to me enough. But, I mean, I like his promo work. I do think it's a little over-exaggerated, but sometimes I like it. Sometimes it misses, but, you know, it's whatever. It's just weird that, I mean, I like that they're going the just straight-up fighting style with it, but we're in an era where they're not used to that, and they need it to make sense to where they could latch onto it, and they need explanation. I like it. I like it because I just love plain old wrestling, but I feel like it's going to suffer from not.
Yeah, but dude, even in plain old wrestling, I need to know. Like, I see why because of the power bomb, like through the table on SmackDown and through the ladder on WrestleMania. Why. I see why, but I need you to explain to me why. That's what pro wrestling is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, even back in the classic days, in NWA days, you still need to explain to me why and tell me what you're going to do to the other guy. You know what I mean? Like,
match of the night though. Dolph Ziggler versus Neville.
Oh my God, so good. So good.
I was ready. I wasn't ready for Neville though. I thought Bryan was going to answer the open challenge because I didn't know that Bryan was still hurt. I thought Bryan was going to answer. We were going to get Bryan versus Ziggler as the main event on Raw, and I was ready for it. And then when Neville came out, I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be good." Yeah. And it was. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Ziggler's selling for Neville's hard hits were awesome.
Yeah, it was so good, dude. It was so good. That DDT too was magic,
Oh my
man.
god, that DDT. The DDT was magic, but I saw something. I saw somebody make a point. I can't remember if it was Jim Ross or Stone Cold, but I agreed with it. I wish Neville would have sold the head injury a little more during the match. Of course, that's nitpicking, but that DDT looked so sick. Like, I wish there would have been some follow through as far as like selling it instead of just being like winded and out of breath and the comeback, blah blah blah. I wish there was a little more to it.
I get that. You're right. You're right. I didn't think about that, but you're right.
But I gave it a solid 4.5 stars. It wasn't a 5, but it was a 4.5.
Yeah, I gave it an A+, dude. I did. I gave it an A+ for the 450 off the barricade too, and that super kick at the end. Oh my god, dude! It was a great match. It was a great match.
That super kick was shiny, super shiny.
Yeah, it was.
And Justin Gabriel or PJ Black is crying somewhere.
Oh yeah.
After that 450, and then after that we had the stipulation for Extreme Rules, which I should have seen it coming. A cage, of all things, a cage.
Yeah, I'm okay with it though. I mean, you know what that means? That means we're gonna get something either sick bump off the top, or Rollins is gonna come flying off the top, which is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome either way. The RKO is not allowed, which means Orton's gonna go for the punt. Yeah, he's gonna miss and he's gonna lose. But Orton's gonna go for the punt.
That's what's gonna happen. I agree.
He went for it.
But I do think that in order, I mean, we'll get to this because I want to do like a pre-show for Extreme Rules. But I think I really think that they're probably gonna put Rollins over clean because I think that you have to legitimize him as the world heavyweight champion. Like you have to Maybe not necessarily this pay-per-view, but sometime very soon, you need him to go over clean on somebody.
I think if he doesn't go over clean, no one's going to get in the cage. I think Orton's going to be kept in the cage by J&J Security and the Authority, kind of like how Cena was. You know, like when Cena was facing Bray Wyatt and Harper and Rowan always stalked the outside of the cage, so Cena couldn't climb out the top. It's going to be like that. It's going to be like that. And Orton's going to get beat in the middle of the ring, probably by Rollins. Because I agree, he ran away at Mania after he won the title. He needs to be legitimized in some way, ASAP. Yeah, agreed. And I think Orton's going to take. I think Orton's going to take it. I think Orton's going to go ahead and just say, okay, legitimize yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm excited for it. The work's going to be great. Even it's going to be a cage match. It's Orton and Rollins. It's going to be a pretty solid match, if you ask me. I'm kind of excited for it. I just wish the stipulations would have been a little better, but I'm not butthurt about it. Yeah. I kind of wish it was a Hell in a Cell over a cage, but the cage is fine. We'll move into NXT, or would you rather do SmackDown first? Go ahead and cover NXT. I felt like it was probably one of, if not the weakest NXT shows I've ever seen. Like, top 5 weakest. All right, first of all, everybody's super high on Solomon Crow, and I saw some of his indie work, and he's a pretty decent worker, but there's never anything that I've seen in his indie days that was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing to me. And then I don't know, man, his moves are just weird. It looks clunky, and you can tell that he's not really that intelligent, and the fact that he's using this hacker gimmick is so stupid to me because it's this guy's a dunce. You can tell that he doesn't know how to turn on and off a computer properly, let alone hack into somebody's system. You know what I mean? I don't know. His hair's weird. His whole look. Why would you make him a hacker? That's just so dumb. I don't know. It's just weird to me. For his size and stature, I certainly wouldn't have gone with a hacker gimmick. You know what I mean? I mean, you're what, 145, 150 pounds soaking wet, maybe? Yeah. You would make better sense having a hacker gimmick because you've got, no offense, but I mean, you've got the small frame. You know what I mean? Yes. No, you're absolutely right. Just a big guy like that who, looks like he could be a middle linebacker. You know what I mean? But he's also what, 5'5"? He's super short. Yeah, he's a short guy too, if I remember right. I don't know exactly what his height is. He's shorter than Rhino, and Rhino's short. Yeah, Rhino's only 5'8", 5'9", huh? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Solomon Crow's 5'6", dude. I'm pretty sure maybe he's right at the same height as Rhino. Baron Corbin squash somebody.
Steve
Yay.
Cutler. Don't care who he is. And honestly, Baron Corbin, I'm over you.
I was so close to being invested too, because I liked the idea of Baron Corbin versus Bull Dempsey, but it just kind of didn't really go anywhere. You know, I was invested in. I was like, these two guys are going to just tear each other apart, and it was a mildly underwhelming match. They
put the wrong guy over, man. They put the wrong guy over. Bull is a better worker than Baron Corbin is. He's been exposed. He's Goldberg. Like, he comes out, he can do some power moves. His finish looks cool, and that's it. Like, I don't know. I don't think Baron Corbin at all.
Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy are the #1 contenders for the NXT tag titles.
Yeah, they beat some jobbers. I love it. I'm buying it. I love it, dude. I love everything about the Jersey Jerks, dude. I love everything about them.
Love them. Love them. I have loved them since the very first time I saw them.
Yeah, me too.
They are just overall entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that Enzo is just like this pipsqueak that like talks so much and then always like has funny spots and like gets the crap beat out of him. I love it. I love Enzo.
And Colin Cassidy has to clean up his mess.
Yeah, I love it. Eventually that angle when they split is going to be awesome, though. I feel like I feel like they're going to hold off until Enzo versus Cass, but when that happens, you're really going to see how good of a worker Enzo is. Or isn't. Well, we don't really know.
Agreed. Dana Brooke versus Blue Pants. Dana Brooke went over.
Next. Terrible. Waste of time.
Is there something lower than an F?
Dude, yes. It was just garbage. But before the match, there was this. All right. Here's my spiel on Alex Riley. I want him to be good. I really do. I want him to be good because he's pretty solid in the ring, but I feel like he's stuck in like 1992. His promos are really 90s. He has this intensity, but it looks, I don't know. It's just, it's not that it looks fake. Like, I believe him. I just think that he as a human being is a cheesy person. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that his bumps I think that the way he moves, it's all just very 90s to me. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I want him to be good. He's just not. It's sad, but he's just not good.
But he was. Like, that's the thing. He was. I was so bought into Alex Riley whenever he turned on The Miz. It was one of my favorite turns from that year when he just snapped on The Miz. And then, he got in some trouble in the back and stuff like that. Apparently he sandbagged a couple of people and he got demoted basically. And it looks like they're trying to recreate that intensity from when he snapped, but he's not in the same situation, so the same intensity doesn't fit.
Right. Like, okay. Maybe that's what it is. It just doesn't feel like it fits. And his in-ring work is decent. That's what I mean. I don't mean like he's not good like as an in-ring worker. Like, he's a good worker. I'm sure if you put him with like some high-caliber guys, he could carry some pretty good matches, or at least be carried to some pretty good matches. I just feel like his character is just not there. Like, I don't know what it is. There's just something off about it.
And I think a lot of it comes from because what did Owens really do? You know what I mean? This. What did Kevin Owens really do to make you snap like this? You were under the Miz for months of just being degraded and a lapdog. Okay, that makes sense. Your rage is justified. We are behind you. Owens made some jokes and Owens picked on you 1 or 2 weeks and all this, and now you've snapped to some unequivalent level where you are just going to destroy. And, like, there's no investment, and that's the thing. And which is sad because usually NXT is very good about investing. The storylines are usually really good with only that hour of TV.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed at where they took Alex Riley.
Right. Yeah. And then the match.
Sami Zayn versus Rhino.
Yeah, and that was a good match. I wish they would have had more time, but it was good. I like Zayn going over. I thought it was smart to put him over. But now it's kind of like I know we're gonna have to have at least another one because we got to have Rhino Owens. We have to. So they certainly didn't bring Rhino in to just put over Sami Zayn. But I don't know. Like it did feel a little rushed. It felt like they could have pretty much not had Dana Brooks match on at all because she was that terrible and just given Zayn more minutes. Or they could have not had the Baron Corbin squash and given Zayn and Rhino more minutes. But I felt like overall they just needed more time. It was a good match. It got a B. I gave it a B. There were some pretty good spots in it, and I do like Zayn going over. But the whole show got a C from me, which is like passable for a Raw or a SmackDown. But I'm an NXT mark overall. Like, I mean, I normally give these shows a B+ to an A. You know what I mean? So a C for an NXT is really disappointing when I'm expecting at best a C from SmackDown later on that week. So,
right. No, I agree, because usually NXT carries my week. You know, as in terms of ratings, it's when you've grown to expect these A's and B's, that C that you get is probably going to be a low point for the year. All right, so SmackDown this week opened up with a U.S. title open challenge that led to a tag team match between all the champions aside from the world champion.
Which is a good way to book it. You know, if Brian can't defend the Intercontinental title, at least he gets on TV this way. And I like the booking there, having the two champions working the tag team champions. I mean, it made sense to me. I get that.
It made sense after you know you knew that Brian was injured, but in terms of a booking standpoint, you're just like, okay, yay, all titles in one match. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, but I mean, like, a lot of people watch that Divas show too, and so everybody kind of knows that Cena and Brian are buddy in real life anyway. So it makes sense. Like, as a tag team, I buy Cena and Brian. You know what I mean? Like, that makes sense to me. And honestly, like, in a different dimension, like, since they're two like polarizing styles, if they were both mid-carders, they'd be a pretty good tag team, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, if you really think about it, I'm gonna blow your mind a little bit right there, but I mean, it would actually probably work.
You've got your technical and your risky Brian countering your power and Cena.
Yeah.
Okay. I could actually really see that more than I've seen him tag team with The Miz. So
yeah.
Bray Wyatt beat R-Truth in the opening match for SmackDown. What are they doing with Bray? Like,
dude, okay, it scares the shit out of me that Cole kept saying a very rare in-ring appearance from Wyatt. He said it like 4 times the same way, and that bothers me, dude. Please, God, do not turn this man into a part-time worker. Please, God, do not do that to me. Please. The powers that be at WWE, if you see this, please, God, keep him full-time. Do not make him a Brock Lesnar. Please, I am begging you.
Don't make him a Brock Lesnar, and don't make him an Undertaker.
No, God, no. He's so good. Stop it. Just keep him on TV every week. It's not that hard.
I don't understand. Yeah, the booking for Bray Wyatt since Mania has just been meh.
It's been like, there's made no sense. It's just made no sense. And the promo that he cut later on that night was like, it was a good promo, but it was probably his most obscure promo because it just like, I have no idea who he's directing it to. You know what I mean? Like, are we going to see another Taker match? Like, is that what it is? Like, or please, God, tell me you're not setting up for part 2 at WrestleMania next year. Like, maybe, I mean, I know he's done it before. Undertaker's come out and, like, done a random pay-per-view, and it doesn't have to be Mania. I get that. And maybe this way he keeps his WrestleMania streak, and you can put him over on Taker. You see what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know. I'd be okay with them putting him on, like, a SummerSlam and having, like, Taker versus Bray at SummerSlam and having Bray go over. That way you don't devalue the WrestleMania quality of Undertaker. I get that. But I don't know, man. It's starting to scare me the way they're using him. They've been using him poorly just because he's so amazing. But, like, to me, man, like, we've said this before too. Like, he's not a heel, he's not a face, he's Bray Wyatt. Like, why are you, like, immediately after Orton, you should go ahead and put him in the world title picture, man. Bray and Rollins would be phenomenal. Phenomenal work, great stuff. I just hope they use him well, man.
Even if you don't do that, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing like a very close, very good back and forth Wyatt Bryan angle.
Yeah, no, not at all.
There's history there.
Yeah,
there's history there, and even if you have Bryan go, which I wouldn't have him. It's hard because I want Bryan to have a good Intercontinental title reign, but if you have like Wyatt win a number 1 contenders match, or he beats Daniel Bryan or something like that, and then you have this ridiculous angle where Wyatt is just tormenting Bryan for like the whole build. You know, really Undertaker-esque. You know, like that mental game. And then Bryan does the face thing where he overcomes and he wins. You build Intercontinental title credibility, and it proves that Wyatt can work these really mind-boggling angles without the Undertaker. I mean, obviously he did it without the Undertaker at Mania anyway because Taker wasn't there. But you just give him something of value, not just squashing people here and there.
Yeah, I agree.
Barrett beat Miz in record time.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Which devalues the Mizdow angle even more.
Yep, because Mizdow wasn't even out there.
Poor booking, dude. That's poor booking. It should have been anybody else he could have squashed.
And then it set up the match for Monday, the match between Miz and Mizdow to see who keeps the Miz brand. Which, is Miz gonna win, or are they gonna do false finish?
5 full minutes of Raw recap. 5 full minutes on SmackDown of Raw recap. Like, all right, why do they even still have main event and superstars when all SmackDown is like 3 or 4 matches and a Raw recap? You know what I mean? Like, I thought those enhancement shows like main event and superstars, isn't that what that's for? Is to recap what happened on SmackDown and Raw, not have SmackDown just be the bitch show that only does like recaps and has like mid-card workers. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yep. Neville came out and faced Sheamus,
which was a good match. I mean,
I like Neville, so yeah, it was a good match for me.
But I do think that it was stupid for Sheamus to kick out of the Red Arrow. He should have hit a 450 and had him kick out of that. They shouldn't have devalued his finish so quickly. It was a good match up until that. Or even if it was a shooting star, it just shouldn't have been the Red Arrow. He should have hit a big power move, and you thought it was going to be the end, 1-2 and kick out. But he should not have kicked out of the Red Arrow right away. That was so dumb to me. I don't know. I do like that Sheamus pretty much got his heat right after, and I like that Neville actually got a win technically, which is nice. That's nice putting him over. And Ziggler coming out for the save is good. I felt like the whole match was – there were a few things I didn't like, that main thing about the Red Arrow, but everything else was pretty smart booking in that match. I thought it was – I gave the match an A with the angle tying Ziggler in at the end too. But that gimmick, the promo for the gimmick, why? Like, why in God's name? Like, that is oh my God, it's so terrible. Like, oh God, what kiss me arse match. What is that? What does that even mean? Like, ugh.
So why bad. Would you? Like, you know what I mean? Are you taking a page out of the kiss my foot match? Like, what are you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Why? If you're in this PG era or on the tail end of this PG era, you're really not showing it. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand the gimmick. But aside from that, I agree that Neville got the win. Technically, I liked it. It puts him 3-1 now. He lost to Rollins. Oh no, he's 2. He's won his 2 SmackDown matches and he's lost his 2 Raw matches.
Yeah, he's 2-2.
Yeah,
which is okay. So, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the Red Arrow point because I feel like at least in the last 2-3 years, WWE has severely devalued finishers. I mean, it took 3 finishers for Rusev and Cena. Took 3 finishes or 4 finishes for Taker and Wyatt. Where it's not anymore where the finish is the finish. It's the finish is false finish, the finish is false finish, the finish is false finish, and then you finally get a finish.
I agree. It just doesn't seem to make any sense. Like, why? Like, to me, a finish is a finish. You know what I mean? Like, why are you? Why? I mean, like, every now and then, like at WrestleMania, 2 finishers, I get that. Like, every now and then when it's like 2 main event guys, but I don't know. And to me, like, you shouldn't even use your finish at all if we know it's gonna be kicked out of. You at least use a big signature that you win with sometimes in like squashes or faster matches. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Right. Like, perfect example. Perfect example would be Barrett. Barrett doesn't hit the bullhammer normally until he wins. or
Right.
until somebody counters him with. He uses everything else. He uses Winds of Change, and he uses Wasteland, which Wasteland used to be his finisher, so it makes sense. It's a powerful signature that can get him the win, or it can be a setup for his finish.
Right.
I like using Barrett as an example because Barrett's one of those guys who has had multiple finishers where it makes sense he can use one of them as a signature and get the win sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. Like, Barrett's a prime example of that working. Brian's a good one too. Like, you don't have to have the S-lock. A lot of times he does that high knee in the corner, or whatever, So I don't know. I think that I see where we're going with it, but I mean, the E is going to do what the E is going to do, and nothing that the IWC says is going to change any of that. So it is what it is.
Nope. New Day's been working the heel corner, man. They worked against Los Matadors, and Matadors were in the face corner, and New Day's been working the heel corner lately. Are you any more invested now that they're heels, or are you still waiting and seeing what they're going to do?
I think I would have been had they not faced the Matadors. You know what I mean? Like, the match was decent. I just had no investment in it. Like, it was a decent match. It's just like the Matadors, like, I don't know. Like, why wouldn't you have them face the Lucha Dragons? Or, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's it, really, as far as good tag teams that actually have some heat behind them. But
Yeah, it's, as far as face teams, like, there's no one else really for them to face. The Usos are hurt, which I would be more invested in a heel New Day if the Usos were around and they were going 1-for-1 with the Usos as a heel. You know what I mean? Because the Usos have that credibility. Just the Matadors just don't.
Right. No, I agree.
And the bad news: Big Show versus Reigns, last man standing.
Yeah, I mean, why? Like, I mean, it is what it is. And I feel like a lot of the reason why we aren't invested in Roman Reigns is because of Big Show, man. Like, it's like they need to do something with Big Show to write him off TV and just start using him quarterly and just pay him big money like they pay Brock and just have him be the Giant. You know what I mean? Like, maybe even grow his hair back out and have him be the Giant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that might be kind of cool. Just something different. Go back to, like, the single strap singlet. You know what I mean? Like, that might be kind of cool. Like, kind of finish his career the way it started, and just kind of use him as just this big monster, and that's it,
That'd be cool. I'd be cool with that. And see, like, Fastlane and Mania were proof that you can get behind Reigns because Bryan and Reigns had a good match, and Lesnar and Reigns had a good match. So the proof is there that if the booking is done correctly, you can get behind Reigns, even if us IWC marks are just like, oh, he's the company guy. We don't want him. We want Daniel Bryan. This, that. The proof is there that the majority of people will get behind Roman Reigns if the booking is done correctly.
Yeah.
And reverting back to Big Show is not booking correctly, and it's hindering Roman more than anything. But we're still early. It's the first month after Mania. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this match will be the end of Big Show and Reigns, despite what Big Show said on Raw. Hopefully this will be the end, and Reigns can really start that slow burning flame. Maybe we'll get like a Reigns versus Triple H, like Reigns just goes to take out the Authority, kind of like he started to do last year before he got hurt. Maybe we'll get that Reigns and Triple H kind of slow burn feud thing going. I don't know. I hope things get better after Big Show because there ain't nothing I can do about Big Show and Extreme Rules now. So grit our teeth and bear it and just hope for the best after.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I agree.
Then talk about gritting your teeth and bearing through something. Cameron versus Natalya versus Alicia Fox in a triple threat match. Another Divas match that makes no sense. But Cameron got the win.
Oh my God, why? Why would you do that? What terrible booking? The three of them again? Like, why would you not use some other Divas, get some other Divas some shine? Because we all know that there's only going to be one Divas match. One Divas angle that you really run every month. And right now they're running two, which is super weird to me. Like, is Paige hurt or something? Like, are they already shutting down that Naomi Paige thing? Like, because it feels like they kind of are. So I don't know what's going on with that.
The Paige injury is just a work. She's not actually hurt. to my knowledge. But I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, could they be playing it up as like these three here are stepping up their game in a triple threat match because with Paige being hurt, they don't want to let Naomi just become the number one contender because she's the one who injured Paige, quote unquote. I don't know. It doesn't make sense right now. And unfortunately, knowing the Divas division like we do, it's not going to make sense, which is sad, but it's not.
Right.
I wish it did. I wish they would explain. I wish it would make sense. I wish they would put as much time in the Divas division as they used to, but it's just not going to happen, man.
No, it's not going to happen. And it's sad, man, because, like, they do have some really good workers that just aren't getting any shine. And the shine that they do get is so poorly written that it almost hurts their credibility as workers in general, man. It's not a sexism thing. Like, I'm not always dogging the angles because of the women. I'm dogging the angles because they're pissed poor angles. It's terrible booking. It's terrible creative. That's what it is.
Right. It's nothing against the women because there are women who are great workers. You know, Gail Kim, one of the best pro wrestlers out there, not just women. Gail Kim is just good. Period.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, in all honesty, they did give him more time. You know what I mean? Like, they gave that triple threat match a little bit more time. The work wasn't bad. The work in the match, the match to me actually kind of surprised me. It was a lot better than the one-on-one match they had where Cameron was the ref. It was a world better. I mean, that little superplex powerbomb spot looked pretty clean. Natty's tornado clothesline that she gave to Alicia Fox was super solid. I mean, there were a couple of really good spots in the match. I liked that I liked how the match finished. I just felt like, why are you even pushing? Like, it felt like you were serving me this decent Divas match for no real reason. You're not going to do anything with it after that. You know what I mean? It was almost like that triple threat match would have been, if it had been the primary Divas angle, would have been a pay-per-view match because it felt like it was ending that angle between the three of them. You know what I mean?
Right. Or you could have had, instead of that 20 Diva Battle Royal, you have that triple threat match as a number one contenders match. It was long enough. Not long enough, but I mean, it was longer than most Divas matches, and it wasn't a bad work. It was bad book. It was booked like shit.
Yeah, it was.
Fandango beat Adam Rose, and Rosa is apparently the ringleader for the Exotic Express, which I thought was funny. But Fandango wins off of his face turn. He gets a win off of Rose. Do you think Adam Rose? I mean, I don't think Adam Rose is really going to go anywhere anymore.
Dude, I honestly think as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, there's your pre-show match. Fandango and Adam Rose. That's your pre-show match for Extreme Rules. That's your curtain jerker match. That's what you're going to do. I know for a fact that that will either be the very first match or it will be on the pre-show. Mark my words, dude. That's their pre-show match right there.
Do you think
sadly, I don't think the tag champions are going to be on the show at all.
Yeah, because who are they going to face? Are they going to face the Lucha Dragons? I don't think so because I think it's too soon.
They might do something this week involving the primetime players of the Lucha Dragons and put them on.
Yeah,
because they've been cutting those promos with the primetime players that have gotten worse and worse. They haven't really been working them. So it's like they're not going to put these promos out for them if they're not going to use them for something. And they don't really – the tag champions, after being beat by the number one contender and the two secondary singles title holder, and now that they really are the bronze plastic paper champions, we might as well put them against this team that we just threw back together because we had nothing for Tyson and Darren. You know what I mean? We just put them back together again because they have nothing for them. So – at least we'll give him a match for the tag titles. Maybe that'll be on the pre-show. Who knows?
Do you think Fandango's going to go anywhere after this? Do you think his face turn will give him some type of push?
I hope so, man. And I know that we talked about having, Breeze and him as a tag team. And sadly, I think it's going to be Bo Dallas and Tyler Breeze. God, I hate Bo Dallas, dude. I hate that guy. I don't think he's a good worker. I don't understand the push he ever got. I think his in-ring work is super sloppy. I hate the Tebow angle that they give him. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I mean, I know, and that's another thing where it's don't watch this and think that oh, he's over and I don't like him. No, it's like Ryback. He's not that good. He didn't get the talent that Bray got. I understand that you can't really fire him because Bray's high up in your thing, but put him back in NXT. Please, God, do not stick Tyler Breeze with a guy that can't work like Bo Dallas. At least give him to somebody, even though Fandango's low on the gimmick totem pole, he's a fantastic worker. He's a great worker.
It's Johnny Curtis, man.
Yeah.
Johnny Curtis is a great worker.
Yes, he is.
And I give Jericho all the credit in the world because Jericho got that man over at Mania, and he came out and he got the biggest pop from that UK crowd, and after Mania.
Yeah.
And then when and as a heel, and that was the great part, is he got that really good reaction as a heel, and they haven't done anything with him really. And I'm hoping that with this face turn on this UK tour, it leads to more. I'm just scared they only did it because they were on the UK tour, and then when they get back to the States, he's going to fizzle out again.
Yeah, you're probably right, man. You're probably right.
Yeah, and that sucks.
Because he's such a good worker.
Yeah. And you can tell it. I mean, I get it. I got friends who are just like, oh, he's never done a day of ballroom dancing in his life, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I get that. But it's the angle they gave him, and he's trying, and he's embodying the angle. So give the guy all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
I wish he had a better stick. I wish they gave him a better stick. That's all.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. And I think Tyler Breeze and him would be an awesome tag team, but they're not going to do it because they don't listen to me, even though they should.
Daniel Bryan and John Cena versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. I know we were already going to give it. I was going to say, I know we're already going to kind of harp on it a little bit for Bryan and Cena going over, but overall, I thought it was a pretty damn good match, man. I mean,
it was a solid Memphis-style tag match where one guy gets the crap beat out of him until the hot tag, and then the baby faces go over. You know what I mean? Like, it was a classic Freebirds versus Von Erich style, old school match. But it was good. It worked well, and I liked having. At the time watching this, I hadn't read the dirt sheet, so I didn't know that Bryan was hurt. But even with him not knowing that he was hurt, I liked having Cena being the one that's taking all the heat, because I do feel like if you're gonna put over singles titles guys on tag team champions in a tag match, then you need to at least make sure that they're getting some kind of shine out of it. And I think them beating down Cena pretty well gave them at least something that was, maybe it's like, two steps forward, one step back. They gave him a little bit of something, and then put the singles guys over. But then again, too, like, you also can't devalue the IC title and the US title by having the tag champs go over. So it's a lose-lose when you have an all champions match, to me. Like, it looks good on paper, and the match itself was good, but you hurt kind of everybody involved with the finish, no matter which way you go, unless there's a DQ. You know what I mean?
But the problem with that is that the false finish and the DQ finish, non-finishes have become such a common thing that devalued, and that's the thing you want to see. They use it so often. It's like it's the last thing you ever want to see. Yeah, at this point.
Yeah. No, I agree, man.
I hope Bryan that the neck thing with Bryan is just a nagging thing. I really don't want him to have to go and have that second surgery. And it's hard because, like, I don't want him to retire either. Cause
but at the same time, man, like, there's always gonna be good workers. So for me, it's like I'd rather see the guy retire than the guy linger on when he shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like,
right? Don't get me wrong.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer no matter what, even at this point. And it's just like, you've had a great career. I mean, even as Bryan Danielson, you had a pretty great career. So, it wouldn't be the worst thing. It wouldn't be the worst thing,
It wouldn't, and I don't want to see him get to the point like Edge was, where Edge had to retire or he was going to either die or become paralyzed. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
I don't want to see him get to that point. But at the same time, it's just, as a fan and as a mark, you feel so cheated because, we accomplished something when, and I say we accomplished something, but, really it was an accomplishment for him to get put into that WrestleMania 30 main event and to win that title, and then for it to be taken away because of that neck injury, and then for that shine to be gone and it probably never come back in the eyes of the company. because that shine's still there with all of us. But in the eyes of the company and storyline, for that shine to never come back, you can't help but feel robbed. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
But I mean that's it for the WWE for this week. I know you watched Ring of Honor.
It was amazing. Ring of Honor.
I know it was an amazing show.
This week, I mean, they kind of cheated because they pretty much just showed us highlights of Supercard 9. But at the same time, this was hands down for pro wrestling the show of the week. It was, I mean, there was only 2 matches, but that's good. Like for a 1-hour show to only have 2 matches, I'm okay with if they're going to be phenomenal matches, and they were. Jushin Thunder Liger versus Jay Lethal for the TV title. Lethal cut an awesome promo on Liger before his entrance. It was a solid match. Liger, I think, is like 50 now, but dude, he hasn't missed a beat. I mean, he's a little bit more barrel-chested, which is, it is what it is. And then, they announced June 6th in Nashville for Road to Best in the World, and I'll definitely be there at that one. So I'll cover that one live. Samoa Joe versus Jay Briscoe was the main event for the night, and that was the world title match from Supercard 9, and it was phenomenal. It was honestly one of the best matches I've seen from Ring of Honor in this year, probably from 2014 too. It's one of Samoa Joe's classic Ring of Honor matches. Like, I know he kind of had that valley in TNA for a while where his matches even weren't very good, but this was so good. And Jay Briscoe hitting the Jay Driver on Samoa Joe was, I mean, the fact that he could do it was phenomenal. And I like how they worked it too, man. Like, they worked the few times that, Jay would go for a suplex and he couldn't do it because Joe was too big. And it wasn't just like the classic big man where he just cuts him off and goes back to being a heel. Jay would just pull back, throw a few more elbows, and then actually hit the suplex. I mean, it was great work. Joe sold a knee injury where Jay went to pull down the top rope, and instead of going over the top rope, Joe intentionally hit the ropes and then sold that he twerked his knee really bad, and he sold it throughout the match, and it came in towards the end of the match being a crucial thing. It was a incredible pro wrestling match. Great story told. Love Jay Briscoe going over. Obviously, I know that Joe's pretty much there in Ring of Honor just to give shine to some guys before he goes to NXT. But I mean, dude, Jay Briscoe, that guy should be in NXT too. Both the Briscoe brothers. It blows my mind. I mean, I understand because the WWE always wants to repackage Ring of Honor guys because they don't want to lose the trademark for their names or whatever. But at the same time, man, the Briscoes got to be the Briscoes, and they need to have an international market, man, because they are that good. Jay especially is even if you just have to bring one of them, take Jay, man. He's so good. All of his promos are so from the heart and so real. Everything about his work is awesome. I'm a big Jay Briscoe mark, especially after that match. If you guys haven't seen it, go to ringofhonor.com and get that pay-per-view, man. Supercard 9, phenomenal. This week in wrestling, though, for the WWE, I give them a D+ to a C about how bad the programming was, and I would give Ring of Honor an A+. So the whole week managed to get a C to a B just because of Ring of Honor, though. So WWE needs to step up their game going into this last week before Extreme Rules. I'm really hoping that Raw on Monday is going to be a whole lot better than it has been. But my overall week was a C, and I'm not very excited for WWE right now.
Yeah, it was a pretty slump week for WWE. I didn't catch Ring of Honor, but I'm glad that you did because it sounds amazing. On to your note about the Briscoes, though, they have officially re-signed with Ring of Honor. They're not going to WWE. Ring of Honor made them a better offer, which is total bullshit because WWE has the money to offer these boys some serious money to get them into NXT and then up to the main roster. But, oh well, I guess we'll keep watching the Briscoes on Ring of Honor then.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. Honestly, I mean, the only reason I would want them in the WWE is if they were going to do something really, really good with them, right off the bat, kind of what they did with Balor. Kind of put them in NXT for 6 months and then put them on the main show, and they need to be working guys like Ziggler and Rollins the entire time. They should never be in the mid card, and I know that the E just won't do that for guys like that.
No.
So I don't mind them staying in Ring of Honor and staying main event guys because they're worth it. And honestly, they're anchoring Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? They're the Ring of Honor loyal boys. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Like, I like that. I like having them in Ring of Honor. That gives me a reason to watch Ring of Honor, honestly, because they have so much turnover in Ring of Honor. Guys are going in and leaving all the time that it's like, I mean, you got Jay Lethal, you got the Decade, and then you got, you know, Elgin, I guess, and the Briscoes, and that's it. You know what I mean? But I can see Elgin leaving pretty soon. You know, I see War Machine probably leaving pretty soon. So I don't know, man. I don't mind the Briscoes staying in Ring of Honor. What was your overall grade for the week for this week though?
Probably about the same as you. I didn't see Ring of Honor, so I gave the whole week a D. You know, a solid D. There was highlights on Raw and SmackDown, but nothing was substantial enough to really pull that grade up. Usually NXT is my show to get that up to like a C or a B, but NXT just didn't deliver this week, man. It was a lull. It was a lull week for the E. They missed the mark this week.
Yeah, they did.
Hopefully we don't see it too much more because, I mean, the lulls just kill them. And they've got what? The NBA playoffs are coming. And then after that, we're getting into big sports. You know, we're after Mania, you're really starting to get into the competition where you've got the basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
stuff,
not to mention like right after Extreme Rules is the draft. The NFL draft is going to take up, and then once that draft happens, man, we all know that everything is going to be NFL full swing. Even though the offseason isn't really till like the late summer, they're going to be talking about it every week. More people are going to be watching ESPN. More people are going to be, you know, calling into their favorite sports talk shows. Like, I mean, NFL is back in full swing, and unless you have a stellar Extreme Rules, you're going to be looking at a pretty dull lull until SummerSlam, and that sucks.
Yep, I agree. But that's going to be it for us over here at Mouth of the Mark with A Week in Wrestling. Make sure to follow us on social media at facebook.com/Mouth of the Mark. We're on Twitter at Mouth of the Mark. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Y'all have a good week. We'll be back next time.
Peace.